So let's move on and take a look at Penelope Carter. Now Penelope, just the opposite of Marcia Snow, where Marcia was completely assassinating Andrew's character, Penelope's going to build it up big time. She doesn't have really anything to say about the incident itself. This is all character evidence pretty much. It's just saying, here's my experience, it's been good. So let's take a look just real quick at her facts in the case pack. She's a counselor at Street Law High. She first met Andrew when he transferred. I admit, when I met him at the beginning of his junior year, I had my prejudices about him already in place. That's a big sentence, and we'll talk about why. Talked to the Algebra 1 teacher, got intrigued. I'd heard bad things, I'd heard good things. I wanted to investigate further, and I did. And once he learned to trust me, we really went forward. He had complete respect of his peers. We put him in the peer mediation program, where not only did he do so well, but his participation in that really boosted the program and helped other students out of their respect for him. So there's a lot of things to say, and hopefully we get them out. So let's take a look. Defense's direct examination of Penelope Carter. Who are you and why are you here? Can you please state your name and occupation to the jury? My name is Penelope Carter. I'm a counselor at Street Law High School. I'm also the faculty advisor for the Street Law High School Peer Mediation Group. Just write that in after that. Now I said, Marcia Snow, 20 years on the job, there's a lot of credibility to what she says. She's like an expert at this point. But she almost sticks her foot in her mouth where she becomes so cocky about it. As soon as I see a kid now, I'm just so good, I already know. I don't even have to look any further into it. And that's what she did with Andrew, and proves a pretty good kid. Penelope Carter doesn't have that 20 years experience. And maybe we can make that a good thing. Miss Snow, her 20 years experience, she just got lazy with it. She's just old and decrepit. We can't take what she says for anything at this point. She's just gotten to her routine and doesn't want to change. Penelope is an upcoming counselor, and she's the head of the peer mediation program. She really took the time to get to know Andrew. That's what we're going to try to say here. But, like I said, she even comes out and says, even I had my prejudice, but I got over it. When did you first meet Andrew? I met Andrew the year after he transferred into the school, so I guess his junior year. Had you heard of Andrew before you met him? Yes, I'd heard of him before, of course, since he was suspended from school for fighting his sophomore year. Plus, he was really not a favorite among his teachers, so I admit, when I met him at the beginning of his junior year, I had my prejudices about him already in place. Now, at this point, we're going to take this opportunity to show that not only did she have her prejudices, but others did as well. Did all of his teachers have this same prejudice? Not all. I talked to his Algebra 1 teacher who had a very high opinion of Andrew. How did you come to work with Andrew? After talking to his algebra teacher, I became intrigued by Andrew and wanted to get a better feel for him. Plus, he'd already worked with another counselor, Miss Snow, but their relationship had really deteriorated after his suspension, and I figured I'd bet it'd be better for a new counselor to begin working with him. So she's observant. Yeah, a lot of good things for Penelope here. Were you able to get a better understanding of Andrew? I'll be honest. Andrew and I didn't hit it off from the start. We had a few problems, and we didn't see eye to eye, but at some point he realized that I knew about his past and about his disciplinary problems, but didn't think he was a bad kid because of it. So you reevaluated your original prejudices? Yes, and because of it, he began to trust me a little more. It's clear that he has a problem with authority, but I think it comes less from a general attitude than from a lack of trust. I could see that Andrew was more than just an angry youth. He excelled in math and science and had a very loyal group of friends. So what's she saying there? First off, he's not just a bad kid just running around, just because he has a bad attitude making all these scenes. She kind of says, it's a lack of trust. Andrew's been prejudiced. These people already have their views of him. How can he trust that they're really going to take interest or do the right things for him when they don't really even know who he is. How did Andrew become involved in peer mediation? Now remember, Marcia Snow is very critical of peer mediation, and we'll see here why maybe she shouldn't be. A lot of kids these days don't trust adults. So it's not just Andrew, it's a lot of kids. Especially adults in positions of power like teachers and police officers. Just about all of Andrew's peers respected him, so I recommended that he take part in the peer mediation training session in the spring. What is a peer mediator? Peer mediators are students who are asked to intervene when the other students are having conflicts with each other. They go through a weekend of intensive training on active listening, facilitating and directing discussion, creative problem solving, the elements of anger management, and mediation techniques. That's a lot of work for a student looking to skip a few classes? Haha, yes sir it is. So right there, we just said, whatever she said about her theory of skipping PE and stuff, throw that out the window. I don't know many kids that are so excited to go to a weekend of intensive training on active listening, facilitating discussion, elements of anger management, last but not least, mediation techniques, just to get out of PE. Well, let's just say I would not be doing that. So what we did right there is break her up just to make a point, so please continue. The peer mediator's role is to help students find creative solutions to their problems without involving administrators or other school officials. When counselors are made aware of a problem, we meet with the students involved and explain that they have a number of options in dealing with their issue, one of which is to submit to peer mediation. How did Andrew do in the peer mediation? He really took to the program, and students really took to his being a part of it. Once Andrew became an advocate of the program, and because of his status among his peers, it became a much more acceptable way for students to resolve disputes. It's a great learning tool and I think working with other students on their issues really helped Andrew to understand his issues and the way to deal with them. So she's saying, first off she's painting a picture. It's the adults who are making these prejudices and stereotyping Andrew. The students, they're being students. Yeah, when he first came in, nobody knew him. Nobody knew him. They probably picked on him a little bit, made fun, this and that. But just like anybody else, with time, they got to know him, figured him out, and now they have all their respect. And because of that respect and his participation in the program, not only is it helping Andrew, it's helping the program, and it's bringing other students to the program. So that's really saying a lot there. Has Andrew displayed any signs of improvement? Very much. So far this year, he has not been given detention. The same can be said for last semester. He's clearly making an effort, and it shows. I offered him my recommendation should he decide to apply for college. He has so much potential, but he just needs to be tapped. Thank you, Miss Carter. No further questions, Your Honor. He just needs to be tapped. That's one of the themes. You need to tap in below that outer layer, get to the real Andrew, and you'll see that he's a great kid doing some really great things. So that's it for our direct examinations. Now, we've gone through the prosecution and defense. Hopefully you guys are picking up on some of the themes. Now, the best advice I can give you is still, just remember the facts, know the facts, because like I said, there are certain things that even I miss that you guys picked up on Tuesday, so great job. So on Friday, what we're going to do, the attorneys are going to actually play all these out. We're just going to practice them, and you guys can really see what you have to do. The witnesses will be responding. The class will be able to make comments and maybe see what we need to add or subtract. On the opening statements, that was a great first try, and we're going to make that an awesome opening statement and keep it, well, just make an awesome opening statement. So Friday, we're going to do that. Next week, we are going to do cross-examinations. And just a quick note on cross-examinations. They're quite a bit different. Like I said, you can use leading questions, which we'll discuss, and there are really only two reasons for a cross-examination. One is to get information out of the witness that is beneficial to your case. The second is to completely assassinate their character, or what is called impeachment. So that's real fun, and we'll get into doing that. And that requires a little more on-the-spot thinking and improv, as I mentioned. So on Friday, the attorneys will receive their binders so we can start making a trial packet. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to email me, j-may.3@onu.edu. Hope you guys have a good evening, and we will see you Friday.